Hivi najua the first thing ya kwamba the county government ina resist sana watu wasichimbe boreholes, but zile ambazo ziko, what can we do so that that water can be available? Sababu the former regime ilijaribu sana kuchimba a lot of boreholes. I can point out two in our area, that is in Bura. Kuna moja iko Mwashuma na nyingine iko area za Mngama Kituma. So hizo boreholes zinatoa maji but haiwezi tupwa mbali. People have to go. So with this initiative which is being instituted now, what resources can we pump there so that that water can reach so many people, at least maji yaweze kusaidia hawa wananchi? Asante.
My question is, as we've been discussing kwanzia asubuhi, tumekuwa tunaongea, but hakuna mahali tumeona tumeongea kuhusu jukumu la vijana katika hii mambo yote ambayo tunazungumza. Tunagundua ya kwamba vijana ndio wana make population kubwa huku Taita Taveta County, na ni vizuri wakati mambo haya yanafanyika, ni vizuri pia wao wahusishwe kikamilifu ili tuweze kufanikisha ile maneno ambayo tunasema maendeleo endelevu, sustainability ya hii coordination forum. Ni vizuri vijana pia wakuwe wamehusishwa kikamilifu.
Jina langu naitwa Dr. Mwanyumba, ni mtaalamu wa mifugo na pia mtaalamu wa sehemu kame haswa kulingana na mifugo, na pia nimekuja kwa niaba ya Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Niko na mambo mawili. Vile Deputy Governor alisema nchi iko uchi, hasa huko juu kuko uchi, na wasemaji wamesema wengi kwamba mito imeisha, imelimwa mpaka ndani. Wale ambao tuko na umri wa kiasi, ile mito tulikuwa tunaona zamani, siku hizi hatuioni. Kwa hivyo mimi nasema kwamba juu kuna dharura zaidi kuliko lowlands. Hatuwezi tukatoa maji ya Mzima ama ya Chala tukayapeleka Vundanyi ama tukayapeleka Mwanda kwetu. Na tumesikia kwamba Vundanyi sub county yote iko na borehole moja peke yake. Sikujua kwamba borehole zinaweza zikachimbwa huko juu. Kwa hivyo kwa maoni yangu ni kwamba huko juu kuna dharura zaidi kuliko hapa chini. Tukasema hata Mzima 10, wacha Mzima 2, hata kawa na Mzima 10, hawezi kupeleka maji Beruga, hawezi kupeleka maji Mgange, hawezi kupeleka maji Mwanda. Jambo la pili ni kwamba moderator alipokuwa anafanya introductions akasema kwamba hakuna watu wa makaa, lakini angeuliza kwamba wale wanaotumia makaa wasiketi, sote tungesimama. Kwa sababu kwamba nasema hivi ni kwamba sisi ndio mambo yote ni yetu. Sisi ndio tunakata makaa, sisi ndio tunapanda miti, sisi ndio tunachimba mchanga, sisi ndio pia tunajenga nyumba. Kwa hivyo na support hii mambo ya payment of ecosystem services, lakini pia ishikanishwe na ile inaitwa polluter pays principle, spoiler pays principle, so that yule anayekata makaa analipa kiasi fulani, yule anayechimba mchanga analipa kiasi fulani, na hicho kiasi kiende kwa ile fund ambayo bwana waziri alipropose, na hiyo pesa iwe ring fenced. Tuliona revenue officer pale akienda kwa Voi River akichukua revenue kwa sand, lakini hiyo revenue huenda ikatumiwa kwa mambo mengine isirudi Voi River. Kwa hivyo hiyo revenue ambayo inakuwa collected from this payment of ecosystem services na polluter pays iwe ring fenced, irudi pale pale. Na pia pamoja na hizo bili kuwe na balance hivi kwamba watu wanaweza kuangalia kwamba huu mchanga umekuwa harvested hapa, sasa umetosha, watu waambiwe sasa nendeni sehemu fulani mwende mharvest pale next season. Haya makaa yamechumbwa msitu, yamechomwa msitu huu, sasa yametosha, fungeni hapa mwende mchome upande ule. Hii miti imekatwa msitu huu, sasa imetosha, msimu ujao nendeni mufanye kata miti msimu ule. Yaani kuwe na balance, kuwe na regulation. Sio kwamba mchanga unaachwa unachimbwa kila mahali hivi without regulation. Thank you very much.
Waziri, to a specific area. Many things have been said about the water system, water management, water scarcity, and the causes of the same. I'm drawing his attention to this fact that where you are seated today, that is Tata Taveta University, has a lot of contribution in that area. Perhaps you may not know. But when you come to the university seeking for such, you find it in full, because the university has a full department called Geoinformatics department, which will help the county government in terms of resource allocation, in terms of mapping out all the areas that are having issues, the forest and so on. So that at the end of the day, you can make the proper decision that you would want to make. Also, the university has the capacity to build for the county even system that will be used even for water management. Number two, I'm drawing attention of the director of Tavevo. That is an observation I have made. The system we have in terms of water distribution, that is piping of water in our county, more specifically in Voi, where I've lived now for over 20 years. I realized that on a lighter note, the piping of the water, especially to the consumers, the residential areas, they are not well done, because you find out that the way those pipes are made also make us to lose a lot of water, because we have one source of water, and then everyone goes to that pipe to collect water from. So you find so many pipes running by the side of the road going to every home. But there could be a different system that can be used in terms of piping of water, so that the water passes in front of my house. I just have a short, maybe a meter long pipe to draw water into my compound. But leaving the main source of pipe very long distance away, and then everyone goes there to tap water, it makes us to lose a lot of water. Number three is the aspect of the burning of charcoal. The burning of charcoal, I think both the national government and the county government, I'm drawing the attention to them, because number one is this. The people are burning charcoal because they must survive. They must eat. And the government is not supplying all the jobs that these people would need so that they can survive. We have another source of energy, which is electricity. In the developed world, you find out that electricity is cheap. Now electricity is made high. It becomes difficult for us to use even electric kettles in our homes. But if electricity was made to be cheap, most people will be using electric cookers in their homes as opposed to using charcoals in their homes. So I think the national government and the county government should to look into it, though it has been passed as a law, but I think it can be repealed if at all they have the cost of living of the people at heart. Thank you.
National Chamber of Commerce. A brilliant idea, and that is why we want to bring you on board, so that even as part of the TORs for the committee once formed, is that the fund will be assembling or will be collecting the polluter pays fees, and that these funds are ring-fenced. So when we are setting up these policies and acts, those ideas are important. Now these are ideas that we want to bring in board when we are setting up those. Then we have the research institution, the Pastor Fellowship Chair. Thank you so much for that. The question we are asking ourselves is, who should be holding this information? There's a lot of research that has taken place. There are lots of data and information that is hanging out. And this is a discussion that we'll have tomorrow with the institutions. Whether in that committee we can have what we're talking of, a data information center, which is held by the county government. And I think those are some of the devolved functions that maybe as we close the conference, will bring out some of the issues that we are facing is because we don't know what has been devolved and what has been left to the national government. Matters of data, information, and storage. Wakili is here. I think he can relate that this is a function that has been devolved. And once we said that, if we can have a central repository of all this information, all this data, then we can be able to share and enable TAWECOF to achieve. The matters of charcoal burning is bringing out an alternative. Sio kila mtu anaweza tumia stima and all that, but the alternatives, we have biogas which can be used. Maybe we can look at ways to subsidize that and have partners who can come in and help people in the highland. But we also have briquettes. Wildlife Works, are they in the house? I believe there's a presentation, and you can show us how you're making briquettes. And we want to come up with permanent resolutions from this. Whether we can agree as this forum that we have a ban on charcoal totally. Na nyinyi ndio nyinyi mmetoka mashinani, ndio? Najua if we can substitute charcoal with maybe the briquettes, badala ya kuvuna mti mzima, you just have it a branch and make a briquette. Badala ya kutumia charcoal, we say that in Taita Taveta County it is only the use of briquettes. Na mtu akipatikana na makaa, faini kubwa. Mtakubalia hiyo? Thank you so much. I think I'll take this opportunity. Maswali due to time, naomba tafadhali, and we will go through those documents moja baada ya nyingine. Take this time, andika ile kitu contribution uko nayo, andika ile swali uko nayo. If you can put in your number, we will call you back. Over the next week, what we will be doing is just reviewing your comments and everything you've put down. Kwa hivyo kwa sababu ya muda tuokoe, alafu tuje tuzungumze. Wakili, karibu.
Afternoon. A tricky moment to stand before you. I know I'm standing between you and lunch, but as appealed by Waziri, grant me some minutes to run through the session that was following the very able deliberations we've had here regarding community water service providers and also the framework for water service provision, particularly the governance issues. And I want to admit that, of course, sitting here, already the deliberations we've had have highlighted the issues that face water service provision in Taita Taveta County. And therefore, what we are supposed to do is really, at the end of this forum, come up with a strategy, a roadmap on how to resolve the issues. So my duty now as I stand is to take you through what the framework for water service provision in Kenya is like, what is contemplated for the county governments to adopt when it comes to water service provision in urban and rural areas, so that the challenges that our brothers and sisters here, the community water service providers, enlisted a number of challenges that they are going through. They are doing a very noble work, by the way. You deserve a hand clap. It's not easy. You'll see from my presentation the percentage they are serving outside beyond what Taita Tavevo is serving. And so there is a framework that is contemplated for them to follow, which we are going to look through. Waziri, this is tricky. I'm trying to run through, but I'll try to just go slowly. I take my time. Thank you. So the structure of my presentation was to really highlight the legal framework for water services in Kenya. And this was meant to address the challenges that you have in terms of those illegal connections, issues to do with the catchment protection, matters funding of water resources, who is responsible. The legal framework deals with that. When we look at water governance matters under the fourth schedule, again, we'll be looking at the role of the county government in supporting these community water service providers. What is expected of the county government when it comes to that service provision? And then there is an aspect of licensing. I think my brother, thank you very much. The last gentleman who spoke raised a question about Tavevo and the way they are doing their business. He was giving his reflections. I'm going to run through the licensing regime that manages water services, and we see the obligations of Tavevo. So this being a forum of stakeholders, again, it will be like a scorecard. Chairperson of the board, Tavevo, and the MD will be displaying your scorecard to the public so that then now going forward, they are able to know where to hold you accountable. And then we'll finalize with the proposed model, management models for community water service provision. Matters water situation in the country, just a demonstration, and this is the issues we've been discussing here. Water scarcity and matters the need for conserving our resources is just demonstrated in that slide. Slide number 2, we're all aware that water services is a function of the county government. And I want to appreciate the county government of Taita Taveta because the governor and Waziri, I've interacted with them in various forums. I met the governor in Kigali sometime, a few months ago. He was really looking at matters water service provision in Taita Taveta County. And so that political goodwill is there. The issue is that the stakeholders gathered here, let's sustain the momentum that we are using at the moment in terms of support when the county government and the county assembly comes up with legislation and policies. They come up with policies on our behalf as the citizenry. Implementation largely rests on us. When it comes to matters, for example, enforcement, if the county has come up with the county water legislation, whereby there are specific people who are supposed to do service provision, your duty as a mwananchi is to help the county government to hold accountable those who are going contra the framework that has been put in place. And data support measures. Our stakeholders are here, the development partners. Largely, the data we have, they've done a lot in our communities. But when it comes to now sustaining that which has been given to you, the issue of stewardship as the citizenry is also critical in supporting the county government. So that is our role there. I just wanted to demonstrate the issue of devolution. Let's not assume that it's just the county that is supposed to do these roles, but we also have a center stage in ensuring that what they are doing is supported by us. And I'm glad the discussions that are going on demonstrate as much. So when we talk about matters water services, it's a regulated sector. I work at Water Services Regulatory Board, and I'm standing here on behalf of our CEO, Dr. Julius Itunga. The regulator has come up with a number of regulations, and the purpose of this regulation is really not to have so much literature, but to help the players ensure that their initiatives have impact on the consumer. WASREB, Water Services Regulatory Board, was established to ensure the principal objective number 1 is to protect the interests and rights of consumers, you and me, seated here, in water service provision. So all these regulations, starting from what the Constitution talks about, the Water Act, Water Services Regulations, and the regulatory guidelines on thematic areas, including governance, how Tavevo should be governed, for example, the appointment of the board of directors of Tavevo, their duty when it comes to stewardship, their obligations, the role of the management in that space, and also the role of the stakeholders is found in the corporate governance guidelines. We have a guideline called clustering guidelines. For example, you have so many community schemes as already demonstrated. Some of those schemes are viable as demonstrated. I was just taking notes and the potential that is there when our delegates were sharing. For example, we have the Chala water project, which is gravity, where you're not spending any monies to do pumping, and it has potential already serving around 20,000 people. That is a scheme that can be really explored when it comes to harnessing the economies to support the county government in realizing the vision of water service, together with other schemes. So the guidelines that is supposed to guide the county government in realizing that is called the clustering guidelines, where you have pocket schemes all over and they have potential. The county can say, in our policy framework, we want to bring all these schemes together to be able to tap into the economies of scale. The other guideline is tariff guidelines. And let me admit that I was listening keenly when we talk about community water service provision. One of the challenges they enlisted was the issues of operation and maintenance. They're having hardships in terms of repairs and the like. The question, something I didn't hear is whether the consumers are paying for the service. Are they paying? They are paying. So if they are paying, what they are paying is not able to take care of the service, or what is the challenge? Now, we have a tariff for water services. The guideline for tariff determines the costs that go into water service provision and what the consumers need to pay, and the interest is really to ensure that there is sustainable service provision. We don't have to have consumers have the service today, tomorrow there's no service. So there is a guideline on tariff setting. There is a guideline on service provision in rural areas. And I'll take some bit of time because we have a number of rural schemes that we need to address in the policy that the County Assembly will be passing soon. There's also water vending guideline. The VC mentioned that, the Deputy VC mentioned that you receive your water from Tavevo.